Thank you, Brenda, and Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real privilege for me to be here for what is really such a pivotal moment in the conversation of how do we marshal the business sector to looking at the SDGs and ultimately looking at investment opportunities where others may have not tread before them as things that they must support and must do. So I want to start by setting the stage for context. The SDGs and the Agenda 2030 is happening at a time where at some level there is an unprecedented rise of man-made risks, whether it's cyber risk, climate change, terrorism, socio-political risks that are tearing apart the cohesion in all the advanced economies of the world. In that type of environment, it's going to be very difficult and not terribly politically expedient to ask your voters in Switzerland to put more to work in the form of official development assistance. So the 132 billion that we have has to be heavily levered in order for it to be successful in marshaling private sector capital. That's one element, that's the backdrop in which this agenda is being played out. At the same time, natural risks and these man-made risks are converging in some truly unprecedented ways. And I think this is also an environment in which we could augur change from the private sector. After Irene and after Sandy, citizens of New York City, and watching the global capital of financial capital of the world with the prospects of having to put sandbags to protect the New York Stock Exchange, all of a sudden climate change in that environment is not a far-gone conclusion for the Horn of Africa to deal with. It's now something that's coming home to roost in our economies in the advanced markets. And so I think it's against that backdrop that we could again tell a story in which the investment committees, the boards, and the corporate leaders who are thinking about being maximizers as much as I can for as quickly as I can have it, recognize that they need to shift their strategy to become optimizers. As much as I can have for as long as I can have it in as equitable a manner possible. And so, consistent with this storyline, I'm seeing amongst the businesses we work with an appreciation, albeit small and albeit amongst a few of them, that we're now in an era where the misfortunes of others can no longer be neglected, and that by investing south of the Mediterranean and investing real capital, real strategic investment in these markets conveys a first mover advantage. And so in the development communities, we need to pull purse strings as hard as we've pulled heartstrings. And the storyline in my mind, which is I think nicely framed in the SDGs of the 2030 Agenda, starts to achieve that business case. So then when I look at the business environment, if you want a great place to lose your money right now, and I defer, of course, to my friends in the capital markets, put it in the capital markets. After Brexit, we lost $2 trillion of market value, and the worst is yet to come, right? So the opportunity in a cross-border investment environment, all of the worst business risks that a company would face by investing real money, and not just charitable money, not just money catalyzed by the development institutions, but real money south of the Mediterranean, is a place where you can get yield. And the irony, and this is the secret ingredient in my business, the second you become a cross-border investor, 100% of the business risks that you will face, for which you will lose all of your capital, are insurable, every single one of them. And whether it's insured through agencies like MIGA, the Overseas Private Investment Corporation, the private insurance market like Lloyd's of London, all the worst things that can happen in the context of a cross-border investment can be insured. War, terrorism, political violence, expropriation, nationalization. So I say to the multinational enterprises, it is absolutely time to get off the sidelines. It's absolutely time to think through a longer investment horizon than the typical 3 or 4 or 5 years they're looking at, and begin to invest